This time on episode 532 of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we're going to discuss the Disney Plus series Agatha All Along, Season 1, Episode 5, The Middle of the Road, Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power.
I'm Damien the DM from Adventures in Aurelia, a collaborative storytelling experience told through a game of Dungeons & Dragons, part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other epically geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Raised on X-Men, empowered by the Avengers, strengthened by the Defenders, webbed by Spider-Man, adopted by the Fantastic Four, and forged by S.H.I.E.L.D. Stand by for your Marvel debriefing.
And now it's time for your Marvel debriefing. I'm Agent Lauren.
I'm Agent Michelle.
I'm Agent Chris.
And I'm producer of the show, Director SP.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. This show is recorded on Saturday, October 12th, 2024, live from the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. studios and broadcast right in front of your TV with a cup of cereal. And Michelle, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power, premiered October 9th, 2024. With enemies closing in, the Coven flees under the light of a blood moon to the next ghastly trial.
Wow. Overall thoughts, everyone. Lauren, what'd you think?
This episode felt kind of like a stumble to me up until the end.
Chris?
And this is the point where I'm probably going to stop predicting things.
Michelle?
Am I supposed to like Agatha or not?
And there's just so much in this episode. I'm actually struggling to keep up, and I think it's in a good way, but I'm not 100% sure. All right, everybody, did you have a favorite scene? Chris, did you have one scene that you're like, this is what I really like about the episode?
I liked a ton of things, but one scene that has stuck with me is when Agatha was pretending to be Mrs. Hart, or maybe not pretending to be Mrs. Hart, but everybody thinks she's pretending, and it's so much her leaning into it, chewing the scenery, and everybody else saying, Agatha, what the hell? Come on.
That was pretty good, Lauren.
I really liked the discussion of brooms and why they didn't like the stereotypes and everything. And I'm laughing to myself as I'm like writing down the reason that brooms are associated with witches.
The Halloween industrial complex. Love that. Michelle?
The last shot.
With the crown on the kid, the teen. My favorite scene was when they were flying the brooms and going over the moon. That was my favorite shot right there. I love that. Definitely the impetus of the episode for me. All right, we are, in fact, going to start our discussion on the brooms and the Halloween industrial complex and everything. So what do you got about brooms, Lauren?
Okay, so there are a few theories of why witches are associated with brooms. There's fertility, because there's a history of brooms being used in like marriage ceremonies in particular. There is the fact that they are a phallic symbol, and one of the reasons that it's guessed that we associate brooms with flying is because there was some trial in, I think, France way back in the day, where the accused witch was talking about like, yeah, we use this ointment and we put it on the broom and then we jump on the broom and we feel like we're flying. And it's a hallucinogen that's absorbed through the, the nether regions and the euphoria and all of that. So, yeah, we're talking metaphorical flying there, but still.
I like the whole how brooms are created or how the magic is imbued, the physicality of the old-fashioned witchcraft. I enjoyed that. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know enough about witchcraft to know that this is lore or not, but it was pretty cool, both explanatory hurry up because we're being overtaken. And it actually worked. And they all had to actually give each other a gift of one. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought the fact that they couldn't make a flying broom for themselves was a really nice touch. And, if it's fake, then it's a nice thing to throw in here. And if it's real, just cool that you have to be brought into having it. You can't just decide, I'm going to have it and make it for myself.
Yeah. By the way, the flying of the brooms taught me a lesson. Always put an air tag inside your spell book, because you might lose it when you're flying your broom, right?
Do you think they have good signal on the Witch's Road?
That's immediately what I went to. It's like, okay, so you have an air tag, you have to have some sort of signal to work back and forth between each other. But I think they work on the near field communication. So as long as you get within 25 feet, you're going to be able to see it. But you have to get within 25 feet. And if you're flying a broom around, that's, I don't know if you're going to get within 25 feet.
There's also the fact that in a lot of fiction, basically, that magic and technology are kind of diametrically opposed. There's so many stories where it's a lot of urban fantasy and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, if you use magic, then technology doesn't really work around you.
But it's Marvel, so it's magnets.
This is true. Something about magnets.
How do they work?
Magnets. All right, Michelle, who were they running from?
They're running from the Salem 7, who are out for revenge, and they are creepy. I really enjoyed how they went from being animals into being themselves, and then they're just the way they're walking and bending themselves. And the mask, I don't know if those are masks or if that's the way they actually look. Either way, it's super creepy, and it helped add to the horror element to this episode.
Indeed. And lesson learned, always finish what you started. Right? Because we learn that, I don't know what the comic book background is, but we learn in this particular case that the Salem 7 are the children of the witches that were killed because Agatha sucked all their power.
In the comics, the Salem 7 are her grandchildren, are Agatha's grandchildren.
Right.
But here, yeah, they are the children or descendants or something of the witches of Agatha's original coven. And I really, like Michelle said, I love the physicality. When I was looking up who's playing them, most of them are stunt performers. So yeah, they're really good at moving their body in interesting ways.
I didn't know if they'd be stunt personnel or maybe dancers. I wasn't sure there, but cool. So we get into the actual challenge, the home, the thing that's protected from the outside, but only for a little bit, as we learn, about 30 minutes. And the setting was unique. Why is that, Lauren?
So when they show up in this one, I've been curious all week. Okay, the next challenge, what's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And what costumes are they going to be in? This one, it was very 1980s inspired. And I'm there thinking, okay, other than the very obvious, this is a sleepover. It's very much like this is a sleepover vibe with the Ouija board and everyone in kind of pajama-y outfits. And I know in the set decorations, I think there was some references to various horror movies of the 80s. But I'm thinking, why specifically this for Agatha? Well, in Agatha's publishing history, the 1980s were a very eventful time. First off, in the 80s was when the Salem 7 killed Agatha for like the first time, I think. And it was also when the ghost of Agatha helped Wanda have her two magic sons in, I think it was like volume 2 of Scarlet Witch and Vision. So in terms of this Agatha, I'm not really sure. I guess you could probably connect it back to the 1980s sitcom bit from WandaVision. But in terms of meta stuff, that makes sense to me.
So I was looking at all of the references to horror, the classic horror, and the thing that stood out to me was the TV with the fuzz in the background. That was Poltergeist right there. Did anything else step out to you guys?
Well, the Ouija board was, in addition to just being a sleepover staple, was also from The Exorcist and Witchboard and a bunch of the movies of like the 70s and 80s.
What 3-year-old uses a Ouija board? Because they were saying the ages were 3 and up. What 3-year-old uses a Ouija board?
My little brother.
Was he 3?
Yeah, and me and my sister were right there with him using it.
Did you force him? Because you just said he was your little brother, right?
No, he just wanted to do what the cool older kids were doing.
It might be useful in teaching kids how to spell, maybe?
I guess. All right, the whole Ouija board scene. We talked about the whole Sharon. Agatha acting as Sharon. That was kind of funny. I don't know if it was real or not. I don't know. Was it real?
I think she was faking it. I think she, like she doesn't want to deal with any of the trials. She just wants to get through it. And since this one is specifically tied to her, we know that she's sensitive about her past and everything. So it would not surprise me if this is just like her trying to get them to stop it. And by the way, speaking of horror and Mrs. Hart / Sharon, I watch a horror movie every day in October, and yesterday was Death Becomes Her, and Deborah Jo Rupp, Sharon, had a small cameo in that.
We're recording this on the 12th of October of 2024. I just want to point out, since you said you're watching a horror movie every day of the month, which a lot of people do, the Hallmark holiday movies start 7 days from today. Just want to throw that out there. October 19th.
The Christmasification of Halloween continues.
Yeah.
I don't know what to believe from Agatha anymore at all, because this really easily could have been her faking Sharon, could have been Sharon trying to get in, even if Agatha was playing it up a little bit. And just the fact that how she reacted to her mother showing up. It's kind of like, it's not a big deal. Okay, y'all leave. This is a huge deal. No, it's not a big deal anymore. I know what she wants. I don't know what she wants. Like, Agatha is just all over the place, and I can't tell at all what her goals here are. Like, she knows she has to get through the road, but she doesn't seem to want to do anything to actually get through the road.
It's like she wants to coast along. And, everyone else do the work for me, and I'll coast along, and I will take power when I get power.
She wasn't the only one that admitted that. There were 2 others that admitted that too at the end. Like, that's why we're all here, just to get the power. But that leads into the draining of Alice. That was it's heartbreaking for me. I don't know about you guys. I was starting to really like Alice, and then all of a sudden she's gone.
Yeah, 2 down.
Yeah, I'm wondering if... So Agatha drains Alice, killing her, but can Agatha stop draining someone once they stop? So I watched the previously on because it actually started with Agatha and Salem and how they were trying to kill her, how she's tied at the stake, and then they do their power on her, and then she just starts to drain them and keeps draining them. I'm wondering if it's just the way that her power works, that she can't stop once it starts.
That's good speculation. I don't know whether it is or not. See, Agatha is at the point where I can't, as Chris was saying, I can't trust anything that's coming out of her mouth either way, because she has demonstrated all over the place. So I don't know if I can trust her. And then, this is kind of jumping ahead, but then she reveals basically who the teen is. We'll talk about that in a second. But did she know the whole time? I don't know. So it's just, I don't know if she can stop draining somebody or not, or if there's anything you can do to her to stop her from draining somebody once it starts. I don't know.
The one thing I believe is that she didn't know who the teen was when she met him. At what point she figured it out, I don't know. My thoughts right now are sometime after Rio told her that the teen didn't belong to her. But I don't really have any hard evidence for that. That's just a gut feeling.
Yeah, no idea. But there's the two moms involved, right? There's Agatha's mom, which we get to see on screen again. I think it's the same actor that was in WandaVision. And that was very heart-wrenching. If I really identified with Agatha, which I don't, but it was heart-wrenching to watch her having to deal with her mom before her mom was flung from her.
Yeah, that was really rough, because I don't truly believe anything. Like y'all said, it's hard to know what Agatha is actually intending and what just kind of happens. But accidentally killing your mom because she tried to kill you first, and then seeing her again a couple hundred years later and finding out, hey, she still hates you. I mean, mommy issues up the wall there. And she also, what kind of breaks her spell out of that is hearing her son's voice. She hears like, "Mom, please," or something like that. And it shocks her out of it. So something generational trauma. I don't know. But one thing is for sure, Agatha is messed up.
We also therefore learned the name of her son, Nicholas Scratch, which we hadn't known until then. And I'm equating the fact that the teen said Nicholas Scratch and the voice in the background saying, "Mommy, please stop." So I'm assuming that's what it's there. Hard to confirm, but yeah.
No,
We did have
is
that foreshadowing in the first episode, though.
Yeah, the plaque, the sports plaque had his name. If you go back on the previously on, it makes sure to focus on that.
Michelle, we did get the confirmation of the teen's identity.
Yeah, Agatha says so much like your mother. And then we see him get the crown and see the power. So it seems like we've got Billy and, he pushes everybody off the road.
Yeah, he does. So I had to do some research after the episode because I was like, who's Billy and who's the mom, right? So the mom of Billy is allegedly, at least, it's Wanda.
Yeah, it's complicated. So like we said, Wanda created these two children, and their souls, once they were kind of undone, were migrated into other people, one of which was Billy Kaplan. The other one, Tommy Shepard, we'll see if he shows up. I'd like it if he does. He's interesting. But yeah, this is Billy Kaplan. And he's I'm still very excited from this. Yes, we get the very Wanda-like crown, but it's also reminiscent of his costume in the comics. The costume, the outfit that he's in the 1980s section, the coloration and the way that it is very much like his comic costume. So when I saw that, I'm like, yep, we're getting this confirmed. Something else that I've noticed, and I need to go back and look. the sweater that he's wearing when he's out of that, like his actual sweater, it looks like a rune on it in what looks like maybe like the stitching of the fabric came undone because it's a knitted sweater. So part of it came undone and it looks like a rune. It looks almost like the Elder Futhark rune Feu, which if you're using like casting runes and stuff, it means like wealth or power or literally cattle. But it has 3 diagonals instead of 2. I was going crazy looking for like different ways that runes are used in kind of new agey magic and things like that. And that exact symbol isn't seen, but like I said, it looks very reminiscent of the Old Norse one. So I'm wondering, is that the sigil? Or is it just...
A lot of their sigils or their necklaces or the signs that they're wearing were integrated into their costumes across the board, all of them in this episode. So maybe. By the way, whenever I think of Billy on screen, I think of Billy Rosewood from Beverly Hills Cop. And if you don't know, if you've never seen the original Beverly Hills Cop, Billy is kind of crazy. So at the end of the original film, he gets out and he's driving this cement truck and he's just crashing into everybody in a police chase, right? So he's the cop, he's chasing down the bad guys and he's just smashing everybody in there. And that reminded me back to the Billy here at the end when he gets mad at Agatha for being selfish, for killing Alice, and then shoving everybody not only off the road, but I think he intentionally shoved them off the road into whatever pit that is.
He also seemed to be like mind controlling the other witches. If you look, their eyes are this very bright electric blue. In the comics, at least, his powers are that kind of bright electric blue. And I don't know if he's consciously doing it. I don't know if... We'll see. I guess we'll see in the next episode what's going on with that.
Yeah, Michelle, what's next?
Who knows? I mean, everyone's tossed off the road. What's next? I really thought this was going to be Lord of the Rings, where they're walking with the occasional, trial. But I'm wrong. Like Chris said, why should we start predicting things anymore? Yeah, I just don't know.
And it's down to the point for me of, I don't even know who's going to finish the road anymore. Even if you just take a group of Agatha and not Agatha, then I don't know which group even out of that would be finishing the road. Because are they going off without her? Is she going off without them? Was all of this a big fake out and they're just going to continue on now together? I don't know.
So we're at episode 5 of 9. There's 4 episodes left. If we go by what I was trying to say last time, we're going to get 2 more trials, because that's a total of 5 trials for all the witches. And we're going to get a flashback, and then we're going to get a finale. At this point, I don't know if that's going to hold or not. I was kind of expecting all the trials to finish and then a flashback, but we might get the flashback this next time around. I don't know. We're getting an awful lot of history into Agatha as we go along. We got the opening with her son, and we got the opening now of Billy. So who knows what's going to happen. I still think it is formulaic enough for them to have to do 2 more trials in order to finish the Witch's Road. So that's 2 episodes there. And all the trials seem to be a half an hour long, so that fits in with the length of the episode. And I do think we're going to get a flashback episode. I just don't know when that's going to be. It could be next episode, it could be in the future, and then the finale, whatever that ends up being. I will still state this from last week. I don't know what the end game is for this. No idea what we're getting out of this. Is this whole thing put together to get Billy in order to put in the Young Avengers? I don't know. Where does the Disney property for this go from here? Is this a 1 and done or a 2 and done? Actually, if you take WandaVision, I have no idea. So also, I have no idea if I like Agatha or not. Honestly, it's an intriguing character to watch, but I don't know if I'm ever going to go back and rewatch this. It's just not, at this point, it's intriguing, but it's not likable for me.
Are you one of those people that has to like the main character in order to like something?
I have to root for somebody. I don't necessarily have to root for the main character.
See, I like Agatha. She's extremely complicated. A lot of her bluster, I think, is basically armor. And I do think that we're going to see her, maybe if not redeemed by the end of the series, at least on the good side. And I also think it's very obviously that Marvel's moving us towards Young Avengers between Kate Bishop and America Chavez, and particularly Kamala Khan recruiting at the end of,
the Marvels. I was just going to bring that up. The fact that you had that mid or post-credit scene in the Marvels. Yeah. Yep. So, Chris, anybody going to make it to the end?
I know that I said I'm going to stop predicting things, but I am going to predict something else here. And I don't think anyone is actually dead at this point. I think they're getting pulled off the road, out of the party, and everybody will be back for the end in one form or another. Whether they're all working together is a whole different issue, but I think they will all be there.
All right. And at the end, when everybody got thrown up, well, not everybody, 3 of the witches got thrown off and thrown into the pit. And then we get to see Billy in all his form, in his crown. And what did we hear in the background?
So we did not have a version of the Witch's Road song this week, but we did have an ending credit song that I really like, Billie Eilish's You Should See Me in a Crown. And I like the song. I have the album, and it just kind of hit me like, wow, these lyrics are pretty like on the nose, aren't they? Things like bite my tongue, bide my time, wearing a warning sign. Watch me make them bow one by one by one by one, etc. Tell me which one is worse, living or dying first. Things like that. And I think that was a very good choice for an ending song.
Yeah, that started to pop out. I was like, okay. And when it was impactful, but again, I don't know if I like it or not. So we did see some ghosts and hear some ghosts in this episode. And I just wanted to throw this out to the group here, the panel here, on ask you a question. Who is your favorite on-screen ghost? So in TV, in streaming, on film, who's your favorite on-screen ghost? Now, I have one, but I'm going to open up the floor to y'all. And go ahead.
Patrick Swayze in Ghost.
Hard to go wrong with that one, right? And that was at the peak of his sexiness. Yeah, there you go.
There are no ghosts, only Zool.
I don't know if that was a ghost or not, but I'll give you that one. Zool is pretty hot. We get to see Zool twice, right? In the whole series?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's so many. Good ghost, I would say Obi-Wan Kenobi's Force Ghost.
That was on my list.
And evil ghosts, Samara/Sadako from The Ring is a good one, depending on whether you're watching the English or Japanese version.
All right. I will go with Moaning Myrtle from the Harry Potter series. But so many to choose from, so many. So I'll throw that out to our audience. If they want to get back with us on your favorite ghost, we would appreciate it, especially in the lead up to Halloween in a couple of weeks. So let's go over our last thoughts. Michelle, what do you got?
We've learned more about the teen. Now where's Mephisto?
Still think he's coming. Chris?
I think we are going to need a Rio-focused episode pretty soon.
Oh, I loved her cackle. Her cackle was perfect in this episode, right? And
yes.
Everything Aubrey Plaza does is perfect.
She stood up for Agatha against her mom. That was pretty cool, right? Yeah. Lauren?
For all that I said that this felt kind of like a little bit of a stumble, I still can't wait for the next episode. I'm really excited to see where this goes, and I'm still having a good time watching it.
My biggest question, I'm assuming there's going to be a flashback episode. I could be wrong, but my biggest question about the flashback episode at this point, are we going to get flashbacks of Agatha, Wanda, maybe Rio, or the teen, now Billy? Where are we going to get the flashbacks? Is it going to be a combination, or is it going to be focused on one of those characters? We will see. Matter of fact, we'll see next time as we talk about Agatha All Along, Season 1, Episode 6. Lauren, how can people get a hold of us?
Well, you can find everything at our website, legendsofshield.com. You can tell us your thoughts on the episode, your favorite ghost, etc. on our voicemail, 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871. You can also join our Discord server and talk there at gonnageek.com/Discord. And remember that we are a proud member of the gonnageek.com network.
All right, until next time, I'm the Director SP.
I'm Agent Lauren.
I'm Agent Michelle.
And I'm Agent Chris.
You guys got your Halloween costumes all set for this year?
Yes.
I'm going to be a cranky old man, so I've been prepared for a while.
Grumble, 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 grumble.
I'm going to be asleep.
I've always wanted to get a professionally made mad scientist costume, so we'll see if I can pull it off this year or not. I don't know.
I decided to be Ungoliant from the Silmarillion.
Nice.
Spiders!
Thank you for listening. The intro music heard on this podcast is Great Marvels of the World by Lynn Publishing, found on pond5.com. The outro music heard on this podcast is Cinematic Trailer by Ed Records, found on audiojungle.net. Other transitional music on this podcast is found on incompetech.com, audiojungle.net, and pond5.com. For more information about this podcast, please visit legendsofshield.com. Excelsior!
How's everybody this morning?
Tired, but good. I apologize if I sound rough. I was at a wrestling show yesterday.
Were you actually wrestling?
No. Because if I was, I would definitely not be here right now.
Okay. Did you learn any new moves? Are you
Yes.
frozen? Okay. You did. All right.
I was going back through. I was like, did I see anything like new and unusual yesterday? And yes, I did. So that was fun.
Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is copyright 2013 through 2024.